this is E. Okay, so I have 3 multiplied by 6, choose 2, minus 2 multiplied by 8, choose 2. And I'm supposed to do this without a calculator. So you need to remember the formula for something, choose something else. So I'll just write it over here. So if I have A, choose B, and I'm asked to work that out. Remember, choose, it actually means how we'd use it in English when we say something, choose something. So if I have 5 items and I want to choose 2 of them, I'm just asking in how many different ways can I choose 2 out of the 5. So A, choose B. The formula is just A factorial divided by B factorial, and then A minus B factorial. And obviously here, okay, this is just a note. Obviously B should be smaller than A, because if you have 5 items, it is not possible to choose 6 items out of the 5. That's not possible. Okay, so this is a formula which I'm sure you know. So that's what we'll use to work this out. So I have 3, and I'll multiply this by 6 factorial divided by its 2 factorial, and then 6 minus 2 factorial, 6 minus 2, that's 4, and then the factorial over here. And you'll notice that these numbers here, they always add up to the one over there. So if you know that the 2 factorial goes down there, then you have to ask yourself, what number do I need to put here so that when I add it to this 2, it gives me 6. And that one is simple. So I have to subtract 2 multiplied by 8 factorial, and then this is the 2 factorial, this one over here, and the number missing here is 6, because 2 and 6 add up to 8. Okay, so we are told to do this without a calculator, so I don't think many of us can work out what 8 factorial is without a calculator. So we'll have to do a lot of cancelling out. So this first one over here, so this is 3 times, remember the definition of 6 factorial, this is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and then 2 factorial, 2 times 1, and then 4 factorial, this is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Okay, and then that one, this is 2 times 8 times 7 times 6. And here, interestingly enough, when I say times 6 times 5 all the way up to 1, that is just 6 factorial. And the reason I didn't write it down, firstly because I don't have space, and also because there's a 6 factorial in the denominator there, it will cancel out. So I have 2 times 1, and then this 6 factorial, I'm not going to write it out because I can see it's going to cancel with that 6 factorial I have over there. So this is just a matter of cancelling. So do not use your calculator and work out what 8 factorial is. I can tell you used a calculator. So just write it like that, where you list it explicitly, or end at a certain point and you say, okay, after this, after 7, it'll be 6 factorial, because I know that 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4, like that. And I stop at 6 factorial because it'll cancel with this 6 factorial in the denominator. So now the fun part, canceling things out. So I can start with 4 cancels, 3 cancels, 2 cancels, and then 2 goes there once, it goes there 3 times. There's nothing else to cancel. So I'm left with 1 times 1 times 1. It's just ones in the denominator, which when I multiply them out, they give me ones. Do the same thing here. 6 factorial cancels out with 6 factorial. And this 2 cancels out with that one. So I look at my numerator in the first fraction. What is left? I have 3 times 3 times 5. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 5 is 45, I think. And then in the second fraction, I have 8 times 7. That should be 56. Okay, so I didn't say anything about the numerator, because in the numerator I have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. No matter how many ones I multiply together, my answer will be 1. And if I have 45 over 1, that is just the same as 45. So 45 minus 56, this should be equal to minus 11.